Today's project is we're going to put a fiberglass hood with a taller center hump. So a factory hood would look like this with a very small hump in the middle, probably about 3/4 of an inch or so. And the new Bronco hoods have got quite a bit taller style hood cowl. It's a little tricky to put that on, and we're going to run you through how I would do it. We're going to end up, when you buy the hood, it comes with the hood, and it comes with a set of hinges in a bag like this. Now, the stainless steel, now these holes here are designed to, they're designed to bolt into the factory locations like so. But the problem is there's no holes on the back side for the hood. And we went ahead and put one in, and we're going to show you the procedure to put the second one on. And I'm going to do that with a Sharpie and just kind of make my mark, because when we fold this hinge, the hood's going to be bolted to this side of the hinge, and then when you fold this over with a nut in there, you want to make sure the head of this bolt isn't hitting the bolt that we're going to use to secure it to our hood. So this is just kind of a reference to not have to interfere. So then what we're going to do, I'm going to measure from the center here 3/4 of an inch. It's going to be our center line there and here, and then we're going to make a nice straight line. It's going to get us pretty close to the center of these holes, and then I'm going to come over 3/4 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch from this edge to here, 3/4 of an inch to here, and then we're going to drill. We're going to start with a small drill bit, like a 1/8 drill bit, and then we're going to step up to a 3/8 drill bit. That will be enough for this to come in there, and it will give us just a little bit of adjustment on our hinge that we might need later. We're going to use the old hood for a hinge reference, which comes off of the edge there, 10.5, right to the edge of our hood, or I mean our hinge, measuring to this point, off of this point, 10.5. So we're going to mark on our hood 10.5, and we're 10 at the edge of that. We're 10.5 to our Sharpie mark. So now that I know I got that marked, I can go ahead and take my hood hinge, a pin, and mark out my holes right there on the edge of my Sharpie mark. Get that to where the hood is the flat as I can get it up against the back of this and down. And then I'm going to mark this out, both sides. Okay, we're going to start with a 1/8 inch drill bit. We'll go ahead and, because this is fiberglass with a metal backing, so we want to get through the fiberglass, then to the metal. We're going to do a step up to a 5/16, 7/16 drill bit. Then I'm going to jump up to a big drill bit and just kind of knock this fiberglass down a little bit. So we put our nuts in there, it sits flush. It's not going to take much, just trying to get through the fiberglass. Now that we got our holes drilled, we're going to use a poly nut, or also known as thread insert. You can buy a little kit like this, which usually goes up to about 1/4, but we're going to use a 5/16, so we're going to step up to a little bit bigger tool. This is 5/16 thread, this is the poly nut, and you just thread it. Put it on in there, flat up, you can see, thread that down until, I like to thread them down till my stud is out to this flush with the zert nut. That way I know I've got all the threads in here. I've got the maximum amount of bite. And the reason we went with a larger drill bit on these is because he's got a little bit of a head, and it'll sit on the inside and be flush across there for when our hinge mounts. This will be flush and not sticking out. You see that there, about 5 millimeters is the depth that we're going to try to squeeze this. Basically what it does, it takes all this right here and squishes it down and creates a big washer, while these bite into the metal. So it's real critical to use the right drill bit, and for a 5/16 we used a 7/16 drill bit. basically just unthread it. So we got our hinge here, and we're just gonna, these are 5/16 by 1 inch with just a small washer. Hopefully we got these things set down flush enough to where our hinge will actually sit flush up against the back side of the hood. Then we're gonna run these in there, bolt that down there like so. Now I've got these holes just a hair big, like one size bigger in the hinge than the bolt. So then 2 reasons. One is I could give myself a little bit of room to kind of move this hinge back and forth this way, because you're going to want the hinge to be straight across, you know, this at this point here, the pivot point, straight with the hinge next to it. You want the hinge just to open up this way and not this way. And to that we'll probably end up putting a straight edge across here. I'm going to set this level across here and basically make sure that my hinges are sitting somewhat flat up against there. And that should give us a pretty good, so that one's pretty low. We'll loosen this one up here just enough to kind of be able to slide it. Then we'll go ahead and snug those up and try to put it on the rig and see if it actually does work. Alright, so we got that hood sitting on here, and it actually looks pretty darn good for an aftermarket hood. Gaps are pretty good. I had to drop it down just a hair, but we're good here. Nice, oh, 1/2 inch or so, 5/8 of a gap there. Looking at it from the front, that gap looks pretty good here. So we're sitting pretty even. Could maybe come up just a smidge on this side. Yeah, just a little bit. However, our gap here is good. I mean, our height-wise is good. Pretty good there. We're a little low here, a little high here, which is probably going to be due to an aftermarket part. Same thing here. Looks like we're low here and a little high here, and still up a little bit here. So I think I need to actually bring this gap, push this door in a little bit and the fender in just a little bit, and I think that will be pretty darn close. Sometimes it's just a matter of messing with these things. Kind of have that towel there just to, when we roll this forward, it wouldn't put so much pressure either on the glass, or, I mean, I don't think it would hurt it, but don't really, you know, got a rubber seal that sits up against, but it never hurts to have a little extra protection on there. Basically what we'll do is we'll just kind of tweak on this fender and kind of get the front end lined up just a little bit more to the hood and see if we can't get a nice good fit on this thing. There's the hood from the bottom. It'll either get the hood prop or it'll get Tom's bracket and a little gas shock which sits the hood about here. I don't know on that yet, but that's the hood. So far so good. Remember, you can pick those up from Tom's Off-Road. If you like these videos, little tutorials and how-tos and the videos I'm making, go ahead and give us a like, a subscribe, comment below. Remember, get out there and create something today, even if it sucks. Peace.